In today's video, I'm going to share 10 tips for new homeschooling parents. Hi everyone, Jennifer here. Welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur. I'm going to share 10 tips for new homeschooling parents in today's video. Normally my homeschooling videos reach a specific niche of people who actually want to homeschool, but right now with everything going on, everybody's pretty much homeschooling. And I know that there are a lot of parents who have been reaching out and asking for tips. So I'm going to give you my best advice in today's video. Before we begin, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform. They have over 25,000 classes. Talk about an education. I love Skillshare. I took a class last night actually called YouTube Success, Build an Authentic Channel That's Worth the Follow. And it was led by a very famous YouTuber, and she shared all of her tips and skills on how to build your own YouTube channel. So I took that class myself in order to improve my channel, and I got some really good ideas from it. So Skillshare has all sorts of classes. They have design, illustration, marketing classes, writing classes, anything that you want to know. Membership is under $10 a month, and the first 1,000 people to click on the link down below get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So that's a really great deal. I love Skillshare because I'm all about furthering my education. We should never stop learning. So I think Skillshare is an amazing company, and I just want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. All right, so let's get into my top 10 tips for new homeschooling parents. So what qualifies me to give these tips? Well, I have been homeschooling for 3 years now, and I know that's not that long in the grand scheme of things, and there are many parents who are more seasoned than I am at this, but I do have a lot of experience with both being a working parent and homeschooling. I also have 4 children, including a baby and a toddler, so I understand the challenges that go along with that. Every single year I learn so much more about how to have an efficient and even better homeschool year than the one before. So I have a lot of tips and things that I have personally learned myself. So let's dive right in. Tip number 1 is to display a good attitude about homeschooling in front of your kids. So I recently watched a video on YouTube where Good Morning America was asking one of their fellow anchors how their first day of homeschooling went. And the mom was joking with her colleagues, and she said, well, is it too early to have a glass of wine? Now, haha, it's funny, and we can definitely text that type of thing to our friend or share it with our spouse, but really, we should not complain about homeschooling in front of our children. Even if you have fear or dread about it, even if you're going through a personally stressful situation with everything that's going on, try to maintain a positive and upbeat attitude with regard to homeschool, because your children will cotton on to your own feelings about it as well, and it will affect your school day. So that Good Morning America anchor, she was just joking with her colleagues, but she said that in front of her child, and you could kind of see his face fall when she said that. And so we have to be very careful what we say in front of our children. So we are in a society that loves to joke around. We're always joking, but sometimes it's just good to just be serious and take this seriously, because we are all doing this now. Tip number 2, give yourself a grace period. This is going to be a rough transition for many people. From your child's perspective, if they've been in public or private school, they've been going every single day, seeing their friends there, they're in a classroom environment surrounded by a certain type of structure. All of that has changed, and now they're at home. From your perspective, maybe you were out working and now you're at home suddenly doing math with your kid, and that's not what you signed up for. So everybody needs a grace period. And so just have a bit more patience with your child. If they're having a hard time with it, give patience to yourself. Perhaps you need to do some unschooling where you detox from all of the situations for a few days and just maybe not do school. Now, of course, I'm recommending you to follow the guidelines that your school gives you. So if your school gives you a curriculum and deadlines and due dates, you should certainly follow that. But I'm saying that maybe just take a break a bit from the stress of it all. The wonderful thing about homeschooling, I find, is that it's a very relaxed way of life, and it's a wonderful lifestyle. So just embrace that. Tip number 3, you're going to hear this from all sorts of homeschooling parents, and that is to not recreate school at home. So don't try to recreate the class structure. You don't need to homeschool for 8 hours a day. You don't need to have set breaks and set times where everything is really rigid. You have the freedom to do what you want when you want to. That's one of the beauties of homeschool. Also, homeschooling is very efficient, so you can get a lot of work done in a concentrated amount of time. So you're not going to be dragging it out the whole afternoon. Our family is usually over with all of the heavy stuff by noon. That's 3 concentrated hours of work, and then we have a few lighter subjects in the afternoon if we don't get all of our work done. Tip number 4 is to get creative about where you do school. You do not need to sit down at a desk in order to do school. Yes, we do have a homeschool room and we do have desks, but sometimes if I have a mountain of laundry to fold, we go upstairs and Mama folds laundry while we also do school. So they could do it in their rooms. You could do it out by the pool. You could do it on your front porch if you want. You could do school wherever you want. Make it fun. If the children are experiencing some bad attitudes, just switch it up. I'm going to get to that tip later. Tip number 5, take this time to really work on developing good habits with regard to life at home. So oftentimes if you're in public or private school, mornings can be chaotic. You're trying to get off to work and you rush out the door and things don't get done properly. So take this time really to instill really great habits in your children, like waking up at a good time, brushing their hair, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, making their bed, making sure their room is tidy. None of this should be a burdensome chore. It should just be a part of everyday life. So if you think about it, we all wake up, we brush our teeth. We don't think, oh, I have to brush my teeth again today. No, we just automatically do it. So that's what we're trying to do with good habits. We're just trying to get to the place where we are automatically doing them with a cheerful attitude. For more on good habit forming, please check out my book, Connoisseur Kids, Etiquette, Manners, and Living Well for Parents and Their Little Ones. Tip number 6 is to start an exciting book series with your children. You only need to read 1 chapter a day. Now is the time. We're all together. We have more time. So consider reading to them. I like to do this every night before they go to bed. We have been reading through the Little House on the Prairie series. We're in book 7, and I cannot tell you what a blessing this has been in our lives. I look forward to it every day. Get into a good living book and read it to your children and just watch how it changes everything. Tip number 7, don't forget to ask your children what they would like to learn about. Maybe one of your children has a really strong interest in medieval times. So you could put something together surrounding that. Maybe watch some kid documentaries on the subject, read a book about it, do a craft on it. What we want to do is to have our children love to learn, to foster that curiosity that is naturally in them. Tip number 8 is to break up the heavy subjects. So don't be so strict in saying, okay, we have to do math, and then we have to do language arts, and then we have to do spelling, and then you can get up and have a break. So what we do in our house is we'll do one subject and take a break, and then another subject and take a break. Now during these breaks, they are not allowed to just watch TV or play tablets or anything like that. No, they're encouraged to go get some fresh air, maybe have a healthy snack, go outside, or jump around, or even do some creative play. So break up the heavy subjects. And so you don't have to have necessarily a recess time, but we just do a break between each heavy subject. Tip number 9, if everybody has a grumpy attitude, including yourself, it's time to change the scenery. You can pause everything and just say, you know what, let's just take a break from this all. Let's go make some cookies, or let's go clear out that garage, or let's go do something else. Just move yourselves. There's no point in bickering and fighting with each other in a closed room over a subject, okay? Which brings me to my last point here. If a child is not getting a concept, just keep your cool. This can be one of the most frustrating things as a parent about homeschooling. Let's say you're teaching something that you think is incredibly easy and you just do not get why your child does not get it. There's a really funny meme that's been circulating in the homeschool community of a child, like a child bully leaning over another child, and the meme says, "I said if Johnny had 5 apples." Most homeschool parents can relate to this. Sometimes you're thinking, I am teaching the easiest concept in the world. Why are you not getting this? So if that's happening, don't get frustrated with your child. Don't yell at them. If they start to get upset and cry, just step away. Here's the great thing about homeschooling. You can come back to that concept that they're not getting at a later date or a later time, and you could drill it home. Then they will master the subject. So one of the problems with traditional school system is that if your child does not understand something, it goes over their head, they don't stop, they move on, and you can fall behind. That happened to me personally with math when I was in public school. I just didn't understand some things. I was too shy to raise my hand, and then I just got more lost and more lost as I went into advanced math. So the wonderful thing about homeschool is that you're able to work on those tangles. I call them tangles. It's like brushing out hair and getting the tangles out, but don't get frustrated when they don't get a concept. Just go back to it later. And my bonus tip, because I always have to give one of those, is to get dressed every day and look presentable, especially you as the teacher. If you're wandering around the house, a hot mess in sweatpants, messy hair, don't care, that type of thing, you're not going to garner as much respect from your children. Yes, you can have a few pajama days if it's fun, but on a whole, it's good to model good, responsible behavior and good habit forming as an adult for your children. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some ideas for your own homeschool. I would like to thank Skillshare so much for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their link below for 2 free months of Skillshare Premium for the first 1,000 people who click. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Daily Connoisseur, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!